Ever since he came into our lives, he became one of the family. But now he's gone. With Fond Recollections memorial plaques and website, we can upload all our photos and videos of him. Visit fondrecollection.com today and cherish the happy memories of your loved ones.
Chapter 13. Here Come the Rumors. Tracy Kites always had an upbeat demeanor, which was a stark contrast to the usual frowning faces that could be seen around the hospital. She was an elderly lady with a sweet smile, and even though she was just a mailroom volunteer, her presence made the hospital environment livelier. Tracy entered the room pushing her mail cart, whistling a cheerful tune.
"Hi, Johnny.
She said in her signature voice, soft with a slight southern accent.
Can you be a dear and sign for this package? It is right here. I will hand it over to you, but it's too heavy for me to pick it up, and I am not as strong as I used to be,"
Tracy requested politely. Johnny could not help but smile. It was a genuine smile, different from his usual snarky sneer. Tracy had that effect on people. They always felt at ease around her.
"Sure, girl,"
he said brightly.
"Anything for you. Do not forget there's always free food for you in the kitchen or the doctor's lounges. Whenever you want it, just say the word, okay, Miss T?"
He told her affectionately. Tracy shoved the lock of her hair, which was once blonde and now turned snowy white, behind her head. The girls in the kitchen kept offering to help her dye it, but she decided to let it do its own thing. Whenever they would offer to dye her hair, she would just laugh and say,
"Sweetie, what is the point? It's like putting a new coat of paint on a rotten wood bench. It's not fooling anybody. Besides, I am gorgeous the way I am,"
she said jokingly, her blue eyes sparkling. Tracy appreciated the friendliness and kindness that many members of the staff showed her. It helped her feel less alone in life. She had lost her husband decades ago, and since then had been volunteering at various hospitals to keep herself busy and to help others in whatever way she could. Tracy would often bring small, homemade gifts for other staff members, who would hand them out generously. These gifts included freshly baked muffins and bread, her famous homemade strawberry jam, knitted sweaters or scarves, old books, flowers that she picked from local gardens, or little inspirational quotes. Tracy embroidered cushion covers on little handkerchiefs that you could frame and hang somewhere in your house. She would give them to staff members at random, sometimes because they helped her out with something, or did something nice for her, or simply because she felt like they were feeling down and out and needed a boost of confidence. To Johnny, Tracy simply said,
"Thank you so much, sweetie, but I do not really eat much these days. If you could give me a bottle of water, that would be great. There's a dear,"
she said.
"No problem,"
said Johnny, walking over to the fridge and grabbing a small water bottle that had been chilled. It would be a welcome refreshment to such a hot July day.
"Here's your water. I see you're still wearing them latex gloves I got you. Do you need another box?"
He asked, concerned.
"Oh, no thank you. I still have plenty left over in the box,"
Tracy said, looking down at the soft white latex gloves covering her hands, as if she was looking at them for the first time.
"And thanks again for signing for the packages. I have other deliveries to make, so y'all have a wonderful day now."
She beamed at them and rolled her cart out of the room, whistling the same cheerful tune that she had been whistling when she first walked in. Johnny and his little gang of kitchen servers waited until she was out of earshot before quickly jumping back into their gossip session. Johnny was eager to be the center of attention again, so he clapped his hands to get everybody to focus on him.
"Like I was saying, do you guys remember the hospital having any serious incidents before Scotty Allen started working here?"
He asked in a hushed tone. Anne-Marie scrunched up her nose and looked thoughtful.
"I would have to say no,"
she said hesitantly.
"but let us instead talk about why you're always being so overly nice to the old mailroom volunteer lady suddenly. It is not like you to be nice to people who cannot do anything for you in return,"
she said knowingly, smirking at Johnny. Johnny looked offended for a second, then laughed.
"You know me so well,"
he said, chuckling.
"Well, Miss Know-It-All, Mrs. Tracy, or Miss T, as I sometimes call her, has seen something that she should not have seen, if you get my drift,"
Johnny said slyly.
"Wink, wink, nudge, nudge,"
he said, winking at Anne-Marie and Christy. However, the two servers just looked at him blankly.
"Huh?"
said Christy.
"No, we do not get your drift. Honey, please elaborate."
Johnny sighed. These girls could be confused sometimes.
Man, I have to spell everything out for you guys.
He whined.
Anyways, this is what happened.
Johnny leaned and the girls were looking at him expectantly.
I went to see my Reuben after I heard the good news of his promotion.
Johnny giggled.
I went to his office and I attacked him with juicy kisses. I thought I had closed the door behind me, but it did not latch and end up staying open.
The girls were listening to him with mesmerized attention, and Johnny loved it.
Well, things were getting so steamy, and I got down on my knees for some boy butter. A little caca between the knees, if you know what I mean.
He and the girls giggled.
However, while I was at it, there was a feeling that someone was watching us. I looked up, and sure enough, Mrs. Tracy Kite standing stunned, shocked at what she was witnessing. Tracy showed up to Reuben's office to get him to sign for new business cards.
Johnny said.
God, which was awkward.
Christy and Anne-Marie burst out laughing, and Johnny could not help but join in. The mental image was just too funny, and one that Johnny and the girls found hilarious. The thought of the wholesome old Tracy Kites watching Johnny and Reuben go at it was so peculiar that it became comical. They all laughed so hard that Anne-Marie's stomach started to hurt, and tears were streaming down Johnny's face.
Ooh.
Anne-Marie guffawed.
Stop, guys. I can't breathe.
She said between gales of laughter.
What did you do next, Johnny?
Wheezed Christy, breathless from laughter.
What could I do?
Johnny chortled.
I quickly got up to my feet and excused myself from Reuben's office. Then I waited in the hallway so I could explain to Tracy what she had just seen in the office. However, the smart old gal simply said, "What are you talking about, sweetie? I did not see anything." "You have a wonderful day now," she said, smiling at me, and walked away.
Johnny smiled warmly at the memory.
That was so nice of her. So damn right. Miss Tracy Kites can't get anything she wants out of this kitchen.
They all started laughing again.
Man, Johnny, you're too much.
Christy laughed.
I gotta take this out to table 9. My break ended 2 minutes ago. Oh yeah, me too.
Anne-Marie said. Johnny sighed and got to his feet.
Right, let's go feed some hungry doctors and staff.
Thanks to Johnny's loquaciousness, gossip about Scotty Allen's behavior and supposed lack of leadership had spread all the way to the critical care departments. The gossip had divided the staff and the doctors. Half of the doctors and the staff at St. Mark's Baptist were on his side, while the others hated him primarily out of jealousy and racism. Scotty had a staunch supporter in Deidre Antonio. Deidre Antonio was St. Mark's ICU intensivist surgeon who was over all of the other surgeons. She was a critical care doctor who specializes in the care of critically ill patients. A strong black doctor who had always had to prove herself to her male colleagues since medical school. Scotty Allen had always been very encouraging to her when she first joined the medical staff, and they had worked closely together for many years in the ICU departments at St. Mark's Baptist. Deidre had tolerated weeks of gossip about Scotty's character and leadership capabilities, but she had reached her limit of tolerance for that day. Deidre chimed into a conversation between two elder doctors who were talking about what a miserable excuse for a director Scotty Allen was, and speculating crudely about the nature of his relationship with Nicole Snipes. Dr. Smythe, a balding old white man, was talking to his friend Dr. Robertson, another old white guy with a bad haircut. Dr. Smythe was saying,
"I just don't feel as though the boy is smart enough to manage the responsibility the ICU department requires. I hear he cares more about fashion than ICU department procedures."
He scoffed. Dr. Robertson nodded in agreement.
Exactly. Never in the history of the hospital have we ever experienced patients' deaths of this magnitude due to staff negligence. Responsibility lies within the leaders, and accountability starts at the top. If the head is rotten, the rot will spread to the entire body soon enough. Nicole Snipes had to pay for the failures of his department.
He said, disdainfully. This was when Deidre had had enough and decided to jump into their conversation.
"Gentlemen, may I intervene?"
She asked, pressing on before actually giving them a chance to respond.
"How can you two be so quick to blame Scotty for any of this? He did not instruct the nurses to all celebrate New Year's Eve in the break room at the same time. He was not the one that allowed the trauma nurse to fall asleep after sedating the patients. Blaming Scotty for these incidents is completely illogical,"
she said heatedly. Robertson blinked stupidly, as if he did not expect Deidre to speak, but Robertson was quick to respond.
But he is responsible for ensuring that the staff is properly trained, correct?
He countered.
The NICU nurses turned off the biomedical equipment alarms. That had to be learned behavior. something you can only do if you're used to not following correct guidelines and procedures. The trauma nurse worked for 10 days straight, and you wonder why she fell asleep. It all comes down to leadership. The entire staff was mismanaged. Had the leadership taken a firmer hand in the situation, that trauma nurse would have had help. That would have enabled her to rest appropriately. Do you agree, Dr. Antonio?
He asked Deidre pointedly. Smythe was also looking at her smugly, as if he were the one that had produced this entire argument. Deidre Antonio realized there was no point in trying to make these racist idiots see sense. She shook her head in disagreement, glaring at the pair of geezers with more arrogance than sense.
That's bullshit,
she said curtly, and then excused herself from the conversation. The two elderly doctors looked befuddled. They genuinely could not see why Deidre would disagree. They saw Deidre, looked at who she was, at her skin color and the way she wore her natural hair in a tight bun, and then shrugged. She was one of them, they thought. No wonder she does not get it. Neither Smythe nor Robertson said this aloud, though, but they understood each other perfectly. People like Scotty Allen and Deidre Antonio might be allowed to collaborate with them now, but they preferred to keep their own company. Their sort of people did not create trouble.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us. If you had fun or picked up anything from this episode, please assist us by hitting the like, subscribe, and notification buttons. You can also comment and share our content. These small things really help our channel and mean a lot to us. Also, special thanks to our Patreon supporters. You guys are the heartbeat of this channel, and we can't thank you enough for being so generous. If you would like to join our Patreon community, please click on the link below. You can contribute as little as $5 per month. You can get all kinds of perks. You can even buy merchandise of your favorite characters at our shop store. Click on the link provided below. That's going to do it for now. Until next time, remember you are cherished by us. So be kind and know that we consider you as family.